Hi, good morning, everyone. Today is the 6th of February, 2023, and in this little video, courtesy of investingsuccess.ca, I want to continue our look at the heliocentric movement of the planet Venus. So as in the prior videos, I'm going to bring this image up here again, courtesy of Getty Images. I found this image on the internet. The sun is at the left-hand side of this picture. And if you move from the sun heading out, you'll see the smallest planet in our cosmos is Mercury, and it's the closest one to the sun. By virtue of its small size and proximity to the sun, it moves around the sun in 88 days because of the gravitational attraction to the sun. The next planet in succession is Venus, and it takes 225 days to go around the sun. Third planet from the sun is us, Earth, and we take 365 days to go around the sun. You can see Venus at varying times of the year, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the evening. If you are going to look for it in the evening, you'll find it if the sky is clear, right after the sun sets, just at dusk. Look up into the sky when the moon is just making its appearance, and to the right and above the moon, you'll usually see a glowing ember. That will be Venus. Sometimes it appears in the morning. You have to get up early before sunrise, just when daylight is starting to break. And quite often you'll see that glowing ember in the morning sky. Now, I'm wondering if ancient societies were afraid of Venus. I think they revered Venus because of the fact that it can appear during the course of a year, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the evening. They didn't quite understand the celestial mechanics of this, but to them it was something to be afraid of, something to be revered. And I gotta wonder, is the human animal hardwired in some way, shape, or form to Venus? Sometimes I sit and I pontificate on that. That's pretty deep philosophically, but I think there is some connection there. Now, in the previous videos on Venus, we looked at the Hebrew alphabet, and we assigned a numerical value to each of the 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet. We did some clever machinations with those numbers using Kabbalah mathematics, and we came up with a numerical value. And that is the number of degrees then that we looked at Venus advancing through from a significant high or low. Now in this video, I'm going to do something a little bit different. So here's a rectangle, and the length of the rectangle is A plus B. The width of the rectangle is A. There is one point in that rectangle where you can draw a vertical line to divide the rectangle. There is only one point of significance. And if you can find that point, and if you can divide that rectangle, what you will have is the quantity A divided by the quantity B equaling 1.618. So that value is what the ancient Greek sculptors, artists, philosophers called phi. The other way it's described is the golden mean. Sometimes it's called the divine proportion. And if you look at sculptures from that Greek era, any sort of artwork, you will see the golden mean, the divine proportion, on display. It's just how they structured their artwork and their sculptures, and we see it today in many facets of nature, 1.618. And it extends over into the financial markets as well, and we're going to take a look here right now. So let's consider a mathematical equation. Let's consider 1 minus the quantity 1 divided by phi. So that is to say 1 minus 1 divided by 1.618. That mathematically computes to 0.48, 48%. What is 48% of a 360-degree circle? Well, the answer is 137.5 degrees. So I think you can see where this is going to go. Here's a chart of the S&P. As in the prior videos, my starting point is February 21st of 2020. That was literally a day before the herd of human animals panicked. We knew that there was something wrong, and what was wrong was this pandemic, this disease that was bearing down on us, and we got scared, and we ran away from the markets. We sold, and we drove the markets down. So what I've done is I've said to the software, Optima, from that significant high, show me every time Venus has moved through 137.5 degrees. So let's take a look at what we've come up with here. 15th of May 2020, was there any impact on the market? Yep, arguably there was. The S&P exhibited a small swing low. So there was some fear, and then that fear reverted back to a feeling of greed, and people started to buy again. The next one, 10th of August 2020, was there any effect? None whatsoever. And that's quite common. You'll see that with these Venus increments. There are some that just do not deliver. I don't know why that is. Next one, November 4th, 2020, was there any effect? Sure there was. Markets in advance of that started to sell off, reached a swing low literally 3 days prior to Venus making that 137.5 degree advancement. 28th of January 2021, was there any effect? Sure there was. Several days before the 137 degree interval, market started to sell off. People became afraid of something, and then that fear eventually gave way to greed, and they started to buy, and they pushed the market up and to a new high. 25th of April 2021, did anything happen? No, did not. 19th of July 2021, a very small swing low, so there was something that happened courtesy of Venus. It wasn't severe. 13th of October 2021, yeah, again, a small little inflection, but nevertheless, something did happen. 7th of January 2022, yeah, that's a major one. That's when the markets reached their peak. We had, again, the human animal getting afraid. Russian troops were massing on the border with Ukraine. Something was going to happen. There was also a number of other cosmic events going on. Mars was turning retrograde. Venus was about to go retrograde. Mercury was at its greatest elongation. There was some things going on with declination of Venus and Mercury. So definitely that was a very sensitive time, and you can see what happened to the markets. April 2nd, 2022, again, same thing. Markets had been rallying. Everybody is greedy. And all of a sudden, literally 3 days before Venus makes this increment, fear sets in a big way. And look at what happened. The market sold off, and hard. They tried to recover a little bit, sold off even more. But then on the 28th of June, 2022, look what happened. Swing bottom, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days ahead of the Venus increment. Markets reached a peak in August, sold off, counter trend rally. Some people would call it a short covering rally, but the short covering rally faded. Fear overtook traders and investors, and it came 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days ahead of the Venus increment. And lastly, 16th of December 2022, markets tried to rally, failed literally 3 days before the Venus increment. And since then, we've consolidated sideways into January. And as we sit here today, we know that the markets have certainly recovered over the past month. So if I look at these various events, 10 out of 12 have exhibited some degree of response to the Venus incremental movement. That's an 83% success rate. Anytime I see that kind of correlation, yeah, it gets my attention. The next interval to keep an eye out for is the 12th of March, which is not that far away now. It could come to pass that nothing happens. It could come to pass that there is a minor inflection. It could come to pass that March the 12th is the beginning of perhaps a major downturn. Perhaps coming into the 12th of March, the markets are already down, and that, who knows, could be the beginning of a major upturn. But just circle that date on your calendar and see what happens. So, as I've been mentioning, you can look up heliocentric data on the internet, or you can go off and buy yourself a heliocentric ephemeris, or maybe you've got the Optima software like I do. But in any case, you're going to look for a significant swing high or swing low, and you're going to then look for advances of heliocentric Venus by the amount of 137.5 degrees. And you're going to do repeated incremental movements, and you're going to see what happens on those dates. And so I'll conclude with just a little commentary here. If you are the type who wants a handy reference guide on your desktop to give you a different perspective on the markets, I do produce the Financial Astrology Almanac every year. I think this is the 10th year that I've done it. Major booksellers in Australia, the US, Canada, the UK, they can get it for you. If you're a fan of Jeff Bezos and Amazon, sure. Go and get it from Amazon and have it delivered to your doorstep. If you're not the kind of reader who bothers with physical hard copy books, I do have it also in ebook format on Kindle and Kobo. So thanks for watching. And again, keep your eye on heliocentric Venus. And there's going to be one more video in this little series on Venus, and I'm going to show you one more incremental approach. So thanks for watching, and have yourselves a great day. Take care. Cheers.